Good evening, everybody. How are you? Hope everyone's doing well tonight. If you're close to my neighborhood, you're getting tons and tons of rain. It's falling on us. Okay, so welcome everybody. Hi, this is Rick. Welcome to Hit Run Candlesticks. Tuesday night webinar. Appreciate everybody being here. I trust sound is good. I think I have everything adjusted properly. Video or the screens up there. So now let's kind of wait a second here. A couple people coming in. You've got snow, Mike. Good Lord, where are you? Well, I used to live where there was lots of snow too. So, Wyoming. Nice. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started here. Welcome again, everyone. I appreciate everybody being here. I know you have choices and some good movies on television, and any Voice fans out there, you're going to miss Voice, or maybe you're recording it. I'm a Voice fan, so I like that. All right, so tonight, the title of tonight was Trading from the Beach, and I'm just going to share a couple little things, and then we're going to get into some charts and just some observations that I have here lately of the market. And one thing I want to share, if I can find it here, there it is this past week, I was reminded how lucky we are as traders. I was truly reminded how lucky we are. Friday's typically a day that I close out positions, losers and winners. Doesn't matter. Kind of clean things up, get back to a normal. I don't close everything usually. But I do want to take some money. I realize that I may not make money every single day, but by the end of the week, I want to have something to show for my efforts. And so this weekend, I was actually Doug and I we were in Jacksonville, Florida, and this, like I say, I was reminded how lucky we are, because that's me there for those that don't know. And this little bitty laptop right here, just little Office, or what is it, a Surface Pro. I was able to look at this right here and look at this right here and be able to close those positions out as a trader. And I feel that's very fortunate for everyone that can do that. So I just want to remind you that everyone has the ability to not be chained to your computer or chained to your desk. You should enjoy a little bit of life, enjoy what's out there. And so don't be afraid to do that. And this right here, by the way, was about, 100, 150 feet right from the beach. This is looking over my right shoulder. Right over, well, not looking backwards, looking to my right just a little bit, right in here. So I just wanted to share that with everybody and remind everybody that as a trader, you have that ability. You have that ability to make those choices. No, I wouldn't make them on my phone, Robin. I can't. I'm as blind as a bat. I need some glasses to see anyway. I couldn't see my phone to do that. And I want to remind everyone also of the 80-20 rule. I think this is very important, the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is 80% of the stocks are going to follow what the market is doing. So, if you feel lucky, go ahead. Knock yourself dead. But if you want to put the probabilities in your favor, trade the direction the market is going. Which way is the SPY going? Now, of course, that could become a debatable question right there. Maybe we'll debate that tonight. Maybe we'll take a look at it tonight. But if you trade in the direction of the market, you'll find that it'll be easier, I believe, to make money. You want to swim with the fish. You want to go with the current. You don't want to go against the current. And if the current is down, well, you might not want to trade up. If the current is up, why would you want to trade down? So try to go with the direction the wind is blowing here. And like I say, it might be debatable here whether we're up or down, and maybe we'll talk about that tonight. Another thing that might be very helpful is if you are concerned, or if you're wondering, well, which way is the market is going, develop a tool to help you determine that. A tool that I use, and it may not be for everybody, or something like it. Maybe you make some adjustments. But a tool that I use is really, three simple questions. What is price doing? What is price doing? I want to ask myself, what is price doing? And then what I want to do is I want to ask myself what the T-line is doing. The T-line is that moving average right here. It's this moving average right there, that black line right in there. And it's nothing more than the 8 exponential moving average. And I find it extremely useful. It works for my timeline of trading. So say overnight to me says, well, we've started a swing trade up to maybe just one overnight, or maybe 5 days or 10 days or 15, whatever it is. I find that moving average helps a lot. So there's two things we've done. I want to look at price. What is price doing? And something that might be debated is somebody might say, well, the trend of the market is moving up. I don't deny that. I don't deny that at all. But I think what we need to be concerned with as swing traders is, what is the market doing for you as a trader? So what is happening right there? Now, because if you're a swing trader, how does this fit in a swing trader's world? And it doesn't. Where this right here fits perfect into a swing trader's world. Just a second, Mike, and I'll definitely answer you that question. Okay. So two things: price and the T-line. Now, here's one more thing that I would like to share with you. Now that you've asked yourself, well, what is price doing? And then you've asked yourself, well, what is the T-line doing? Is the T-line moving up or down? Now ask yourself, what is price doing in relationship to the T-line? So when I see that, there we go. When I see price is underneath the T-line, then again, this is my personal trading world. It might not work for everybody. Depends on your trading style and your outlook of the market. I'm trying to stay away from the word time frame, because I don't want anyone to think it's got anything to do with 5 minute, 15 minute, hour, daily, weekly, anything. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's your personal timeline for trading. And so I want to ask myself, what is price doing in relationship to the T-line? And price right now for the SPY is underneath the T-line. Therefore, it's very hard for me to be overly bullish. Very hard for me. I don't deny that we are really still doing pretty good. I mean, we really are. Heck, if we look at a weekly chart, we're still cranking up there pretty well. I mean, a little bit of a pullback, so yet, but nothing at this moment anyway is anything to be worried about other than just a normal resting pullback. But still, that's my trading world. So whether you use the T line or not, or maybe use a 20-day simple moving average or some other mechanism, try to develop a way so that you can look at a chart and just quickly say, well, which way is this market going? I mean, we can look at the Qs here. Which way are the Qs going? Which way are the diamonds going? Which way are they going? Which way is IWM going? Which way is it going? So now, with that said, though, I'm also one that I don't like to pick bottoms. So somebody might look at IWM and say, well, we're pretty oversold right now. We could get a bounce. Absolutely. But then we get into tradable bottoms. Is this the tradable bottom, or is this the tradable bottom right here, up here, right there? And see, I would say that's the tradable bottom, not this. This may be the actual bottom. It could be. I can't predict that it's going to be there. But as far as a tradable bottom, I wouldn't call that tradable. I would call this tradable, because by the time we got up here, we would develop something that's very important in trading, and that is a low to a high to a higher low, and maybe that high. And I'm just making up where it may be. So once we cross back over that line, over this candle right here, that's where I would think that we might start to have a tradable bottom, and we may have that low, high, higher low, higher high setup in there. And that's when we have a tradable bottom. Another thing I want to just say really quick, and then we're going to look at some charts. I'm going to ask you guys for some charts. We're going to look at some charts. I mentioned this in the trading room today. Please don't ever forget you don't have to trade every day. Please don't forget that. Don't forget that it's okay if you don't make money one day. It's all right. There's not a soul in here should actually start every day thinking, or you can think you're going to make money, but don't be disappointed if you don't actually make $1 on any given day. That's pretty hard to do sometimes. It really is, especially in markets like this. So don't feel like you have to force anything. Don't try to put a round peg in a square hole. And for goodness sakes, don't try to push string. Good Lord, have you ever tried pushing string? It just doesn't work. The point I'm trying to make is if the market is causing you grief, everything you touch just turns to garbage. If you can't seem to make any money, if you make $1 here and lose $2 here, and it's day after day after day after day, for a few days in a row, learn to realize what's causing that, and then when it starts, stop doing that. So allow the market to clean itself up. So, Robin, and we all go through that. We all do. We truly do. We have good days and bad days. I mean, I can tell you right now, last month was not the greatest month for me. It really wasn't. It's only been the past couple of weeks. Man, I have just cleaned house, and I've done very, very well. In Friday in Florida, I closed out 189% on a few positions, totaling it 189%. So it turned out very nice. And sometimes you go through that rough time, and that's where you have to. It's not about trading every day. It's about managing what you have and knowing when to back off sometimes. And right now at this moment, I think it's time for some traders to back off. because it is a tough market right now. And when I say back off, I'm only talking for a few days. I mean, the market, all the market's got to do is really make a big, big, big decision. If we go over here and look at this chart, here's a chart. And the blue line is the 50-day simple. So there is a big decision being made right here. And the decision is, well, are the bulls going to take this and move us up? And you know how you'll know? Well, you know how you'll know when the probability is in that favor? When we finally start stacking candles. We haven't stacked any yet. And what I mean by stacking is you have a pretty decent candle yesterday that might be giving us a clue that it's a bottom, maybe. And now today, we really didn't have confirmation either way, did we? No, we didn't. And just because it poked its little nose up there, all the traders that are trying to sneak in early got burned today. And you got burned because you tried to sneak in early. So what you do is you wait till you see a series of candles showing bullishness. So you might look for candles that look like this maybe. So we've got yesterday here, today here. So maybe, and I'm just going to make stuff up here. There's no way I can predict what it's going to do. So I'm going to use that line, use this candle right here, and about a little over 50% of that body just happens to be there. But when we start doing this, okay, maybe now we can start thinking about it. But when it does that, what is the one piece that we still need? We still need this to pull back and test, don't we? So let that happen. Let that happen. Now, based on my scenario right here, and believe me, I couldn't no more tell you than the man in the moon if this is what it's going to look like. A bar, 3 bars, 3 days, right? I couldn't tell you that 3 days this was going to happen. I can't begin to tell you that. All I know is we want to wait till these things happen. So once again, we get into that tradable bottom. Is this the tradable bottom or is this the tradable bottom? Could be debatable. For those that argue that this is the debatable bottom, please just look at your account. Are you making money? If that's the case, then I think whatever you're doing right. If somebody makes the argument this is the tradable bottom and you are not making money, I would argue stop trying to trade off the bottom and let the tradable bottom present itself. But what happens is we get into this, well, I want to collect it here so I can collect all that money. Don't worry about that money down there. The money will come if we're going to follow through. It will come. It will come. Big education when I learned that for myself. So just make sure that you're trading on the right side of the market here and don't try to push string. Okay. Let's see here. One thing I want to point out, there might be some new folks here, so I want to talk really quick about these 3 lines that I have right here. I'm not going to get into these too much because we just don't have enough time tonight, but I want to just cover them a little bit. These are simply regression lines. That's all they are. But they are measured from the T-line based on the T-line highs. That's the green regression line. And the blue one is measured on the T-line lows. So the regression lines are coming from the T-line, and the T-lines are coming from the high and the low averages of the candles. The red line is simply the 17 EMA with a regression line put on it. That's all it is. So this is another thing that I want to look at. When I see us trending up in this manner right here, like this, trending up. Well, and it doesn't really matter if we're going sideways or actually trending down. It just doesn't matter. When I see price below that area, why would I want to be bullish here? Now, and there may be cases you are for different scenarios, but I'm just, I'm trying to reach out to the person that's struggling here and give you some ideas that I use, and um, and I hope it helps. I'm not saying it's the right thing for you. I'm not saying that at all. Uh, but I just want to point out something that might work. So when you see this happening, why chase that down there? Why? You remember, we want to swim with the market. You want to swim with the market, and right now the market is below this. So if this was support, it became resistance. So until we break back up through that resistance at this level right here, until we break back up through that resistance, this is a tough road to be always trying to push string. And what I mean by that pushing string is don't be too long. You're trying to force a long trade. And I'm saying that because 99% of all traders want to be long. And then when we have pullbacks like this, everyone wants to try to snag a real catchy bottom. And that's what gets us in trouble sometimes. So let's see, Scott, and I apologize if I missed anyone up there. Any questions? Thank you, Jim, very much for answering the T-line question. If anyone has any questions, let me know and I'll come back. I won't yak as much and pay more attention to the chat. Scott, will you be explaining how to use the regression lines to make trades? If there's trades that show up tonight, absolutely. I can't get into any great detail of those just because we don't have time. But I definitely will talk about them if there's a trade we look at tonight or a chart setup we have tonight. I will be talking about them more on a webinar I'm doing the 17th. And let me just talk about that just for a second and get that out of the way. And then we can get going here. And I want to put a link out there. I want to put a link. And when you have time, go take a look at that. But it's a webinar I'm putting out on the great, Scott. We will be talking about those. On the 17th, I'll be doing a webinar about rounded bottom breakouts, and we will be talking about these lines, both, say, on a 60-minute chart, a daily chart, 2-day, 3-day, and a weekly chart, looking at rounded bottom breakouts in those time frames. And we will be talking about these. Also, I want to let everybody know, because some people that signed up early on, you don't know this yet, so I want to mention it to you. You'll also be put into, how do I say this? You'll be put into a trade alert program, I guess, where you will be alerted on any trades that I make within a second of me making those trades. It's not a recommendation for you at all to take the trade. It's for your education, so you can see maybe what I'm looking at. Right or wrong, I'm going to have losers. I mean, believe me, I'm going to definitely have losers. So I always do. So for those that didn't know that, you are in that group. So everyone will be getting that as well. 30 days on that. So okay. All right, let's get going here. Let's see what we can do here. Hi, Gwen. Another topic. When will the session of Hike and Ashy be scheduled? You know what? I'll talk to Doug. Doug's going to be doing that, and I'll talk to Doug, and by golly, I'll get an answer for you. I don't know if I can get that answer for you tonight, Gwen, but I'll make sure that we talk about it. Okay. Let's see. What about a 1 week 8 EMA? What should that should be breached also? When you say 1 week, George, you're just talking about a weekly chart, right? Like, whoops, let me go over here. You're just talking about a weekly chart. And there's a weekly chart with the T-line on it. So ask yourself, what is price doing in relationship to the T-line here? So yeah, and you can use that on any time frame you want. I mean, if you want to use it on a 1 minute chart, you certainly can. If you want to use it for a, 5-year chart, you can certainly do that too, and everything in between. And I do. I use it, on the time frames that I use. All right. Let's see. Great, Donald. Appreciate it. All right. So what I want to do here is, if you guys have any trades that you want to take a look at, let's please do that. And I will talk about these if I see it appropriate. I can guarantee you there will be a lot of talk about it. Okay, so not worried about that. See, Lee is asking, do you still use moving averages? Yes, absolutely. This is like a chart with everything on it. This is my rounded bottom breakout chart right there, and that has the rounded bottom breakout moving averages that you need for the rounded bottom breakout. Absolutely, Lee. All traders, well, I shouldn't say all traders, and I shouldn't say everybody. I would bet most of us have some sort of a toolbox at home, right? And inside your toolbox at home, you've got a hammer, screwdriver, pair of pliers. Some people have elaborate toolboxes. Some people just have a little toolbox, for a little homeowner type, maybe. Everyone has something different, but I'll bet you everybody has some sort of toolbox at home. And traders should be that way as well. They should have a toolbox full of tools that they might use. Moving averages are just a tool. It doesn't mean that you can look at a chart. You have to look at charts with moving averages. In fact, I would argue that if you want to be a better trader, only look at that chart right there. Look at that. Just look at a naked chart. Nothing on it. And this will teach you to read price action. This will teach you to read support and resistance. And then what'll happen is you'll look at this chart and you might say, hey, I'm going to go to my toolbox now and I'm going to grab a tool. I'm going to grab that tool right there. I'm going to grab that tool right there. Oh, look at that. I can use that tool, and now it's showing me that we might have broke support here. So, like I said, moving averages are just a tool. Some people use some people use hammers all the time, and maybe you shouldn't use hammers all the time. Maybe every now and then, you should use a screwdriver instead of a hammer. So utilize those tools. And I'm going to jump down to Happy really quick because Happy brings up a good point. Yeah, too many tools create confusion. And Happy, I totally agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. But you know what? I use TC2000. I happen to think it's one of the best chart services out there for charting, if not the best. And you can set this up. I have mine set up. You can't see it at the top because I have the camera just on the chart. But I have what I call a T-line chart that focuses on the T-line. I have a chart that I can look at that focuses on the T-line regression lines. I have a chart that focuses on just the volatility stop. I have my RBB chart, a naked chart. I have a dark chart, what I call my dark chart, which no price action at all, just 3 moving averages. That's it. Tells me what that particular chart is doing. So it's what happens, I think, is as traders we go to webinars. Everyone's got a dog and pony show. Even I do. I admit it. Everyone's got a dog and pony show. So you go to the dog and pony show, you learn a new trick. So what do? You bring that trick home and you try to teach your dog and pony that same trick. And what you do is you throw it on your chart, and before you know it, your chart looks like a pig pen. You don't have to put it on every chart. Not at all. I mean, I think my charts are relatively clean. If I just want to see a T-line chart, that's what I look at. Just a channel chart, that's what I look at. See, I've got some trend lines drawn in here. If I erase those trend lines, And I do have the volatility stop in here. I can turn that down. Maybe I'll turn that down just a little bit. But I do like to see it ever so slightly in the background. Just very vague there. So anyway, I do agree with you, Happy, but it's all how you bring your tools out. You don't have to use them all the time. All right, I know there was some few things above Happy there. Oh, no, maybe not. Okay. Chicken Hawk has Mrs. Hawk. That's let's see. Thanks, Anthony. That's great. Yeah, he's got some great videos on YouTube on TC2000. Absolutely. Yes, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Let's take a look at PFE. So, as we look at PFE, you can clearly see it's in a trend. Okay, and let's talk about these really quick right here. All right, the lines here, the regression lines. Now, I'm using 35 days on the regression line. So you have to understand that if these lines would be back here, okay? And you see this pullback right in here? This pullback would be in this area up here. So the lines would be back here if this was where we are today. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these charts that have run up and then pulled back in this area. Now I don't live and die with the red line, and I don't live and die with the green line. Okay, different scenarios. I'm sure we'll see some tonight. So when I see this starting to happen, and basically all it is price rallies up, price runs up, and then what happens is price starts to move back into trend. And that's just what it did right there. That's all it did. And these lines would be back here like this. And it just moves into that front side. So with that said, look how we've run up and then pulled back just so slightly. So if you bought this, maybe that was a point to sell it, maybe not. I don't know. It depends, your trade plan. But if you did not buy it down here or anywhere in this area, see that pullback? That might be a reason to think about another buy after we're in this area and we start showing bullishness. All right, we have to have follow through. It's not just blindly buy. And if you bought in this area or even on a breakout, you would have bought here, you're now in the money. Okay, so I look at this chart now, and PFE, if you're in it, I think there's nothing that says that it's moving down. You got a little wiki going on tonight, but the world's not coming to an end. There's nothing about this chart that suggests going to have any big crash. So I would have to say, if you're in it, I would stick with your plan and stay in it. Now, maybe you're looking to buy it. I don't know. And if you're looking to buy it, what you've got to simply decide is where is your stop. Just simply make that decision. Some people might want to pull a particular tool out of their pocket, and that tool maybe is the volatility stop. Maybe you want to pull that out of your tool bag. And you might want to put that stop near the volatility stop. You might want to tighten it up maybe. However you use it. And that's something we teach in the trading rooms, right way options and hit run candlesticks. How to use this and how you kind of add price to it. So if you're thinking about buying it, set your stop in there. We always want to kind of buy at a pretty good price. So for instance, this chart here, I might put a box in it, and then I might get pretty excited if price started to move back into that area there, and I might start looking for that buy, right? Now let's go back to the T-line chart, and you can see where that box is. And if it started to slide a little bit, then I would just wait and be patient till it made a chart pattern that we recognize. For instance, we might look at a chart pattern that rallies up and pulls back, something like that. We call that a J hook, right? We might look for a chart pattern that I don't really, well, no. I kind of see one here that runs up, pulls back, and then creates kind of, I'll say kind of, pop out of the box right there. So you might wait for those type of chart patterns. You might wait for a chart pattern that looks like a flag, those sort of things. You want to look for those chart patterns that are known launch pads is what you want to look for. And I like the launch pads to be in this area or just like PFE is up into this area. So right now, that was a long way to get to, I would be bullish PFE. If you're in it, set your stop, raise your stop up. If you've been in it for a while, don't ever be afraid to take some profits off the table. PBR. Whoops. There we go. PBR. PBR. Jonathan, these are some of these. It's charts like this that, and I'll tell everybody right now, and I'm gonna pick on you, okay? And I'm not really picking on. I'm just telling everybody. When you put charts out like this, please give an explanation, because it's charts like this. I don't have a clue what to talk about. I honestly don't have a clue. Personally, I think anyone's got to be out of their ever-loving mind to think about buying that chart right there. And it just makes total sense that when a chart moves up like this, you have to wait for a pullback. You have to. So, I mean, unless you just like buying when a chart's been up so high. So when we see charts like this, please give an explanation. What is it you're thinking? Because I don't have a clue what you're thinking. Because right now, I would say, I think that's a horrible chart. Horrible. With that said, maybe put it on your watch list. Wait for the chart pattern to set up. Don't chase it. Now, maybe you're long on this chart. I don't know this. See, share with me this information. It would be so helpful, and I promise you it will be fruitful for you if you share the situation. So, if you are long on this, it's real simple. First of all, if you were bought it here and you're long here, I would hope to goodness that you took some profit. I would hope to goodness that you've taken some off the table. Now, I would just simply put a stop in there and let it run. That's about all you can do with it. It's so high up there that it's like walking on a 20-foot, one single stilt. You're just asking for trouble. You're begging for it. I don't care what oil is doing. I don't care about that. The chart itself is gone too far to mess with. If you're already long, though, just simply take some profits off to protect yourself. Set your stop in there and let it go. That's all you can do. There is no trick about it. There's no secret. There's no super duper secret method to trade stocks like this. There really is not. When you get that kind of profit, protect. Always be moving your stop up and protect. So, nice trade, by the way. Way to go. Let's see. I need to change so I can see more chat. Let's see. There we go. Okay, Bob is looking at CYH. Let me see if I can speed this up a look at this. Bob is looking at CYH. Bob, I've never known you to be short. I could be wrong. I look at CYH and I honestly do not see a trade there whatsoever. Whatsoever do I see a trade. Here, I'm going to do this. Let's get rid of price. All right. Until price gets above these right here, why would we want to risk it? Why would we want to risk it? I can't. I can't see that as a good trade. So I would have to see price do something like this. Move up, test, and then trade. Like that. Move up, test, then trade. I see no trade right now, right here, based on this chart. In fact, all we've done is stuck up against resistance for now. Let's see here. UVE. UVE. There we go. Oh, that's pretty. Who did that? David. Thank you, David. I like this chart. This is nice. See how we've run up and now we've pulled back. See how we're creating a nice little bottom right in here? I like that. That's a nice chart. So now what we want to do is, I think in this, every little case is a little bit different on buying it. For me, what I would have to see is probably a breakout here. So I would look for something like this, like I say, on this particular chart. Unless you bought it here. I mean, if you bought it down there, wow, way to go. That's sweet. That is very sweet. Good risk reward trade right here. But if you didn't, I think I would have to wait for that breakout now and that test up here. The shooting star here, pretty much guaranteed that we were going to see another lower low. And then from there, the sellers just came in and kept bringing it down. The buyers now are coming back in here. Probably should, don't use red for buyers. Let's use blue. I don't use green too much because it doesn't show up very well. So the buyers are starting to come in. And then, like I said, that's kind of the way I would look at that particular trade. Nice chart, though. Thank you very much. Mark T, bought on the pullback. Just a reminder that by the time I get to whatever you might write, I don't have a clue on what stock you might be talking about, Mark. I honestly don't. So just remember, it's important that you add the ticker symbol in there. CMCO short. Are you already short? That's one thing I would have to ask. I mean, day late and dollar short maybe on this one. I think now to be short, I think you're going to have to see a rally up before you can be short. So I don't know if you're asking me, hey, I am short and what I might think of that short. But right now, I have to assume you're not short, you want to get short, and I would have to say maybe a day late dollar short. I would wait for a rally up. Now, with that said, honestly, I don't think, I wouldn't touch this stock with a 10-foot pole. I have no enemies in life, but if I had one, I wouldn't even use their money to trade this stock because there is no volume in it. No volume. Today only traded 84,000 shares. Not enough. Pick a day. Just stop right there. That traded 190,000 shares. Over here, that traded 99,000 shares. So there's just no volume in that chart. ENDP, I like that chart. We talked about it a couple times in the trading room today. And I think this is a great chart to look here. See how we've rallied up now. We've rallied. Let me get my tool here. See how we've rallied. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this little guy. We've rallied up, and see how we've pulled back, and we're right in those moving those regression lines. We're close enough. We're right there. And by the way, I don't mind buying above the green one either. I don't mind that at all, like we are now. Notice how it pulled back. Nice little pullback here, and we have broken out. So to me, this is a bullish chart. This would be buyable on any positive trading above. I'm a body guy, so I'm going to say above that 1762 area. If somebody is a bit aggressive and price opens up inside between those two lines tomorrow, up into here, and actually I would drop it down into here, then anything above 1680, I would even consider that as a trade. But that's a little bit more aggressive trade. This is a little bit more, you're seeing follow through. I want to talk about that really quick for a second. 109 years ago, well, 30 years ago, I would have argued with somebody. I would have argued that, I got to tell you, I would have argued 17 hours a day on this, that this is the aggressive trade, and this is, let me draw lines here. The trade in here would be an aggressive trade. where the trade up here would be a conservative trade. I would have argued that. I There's no way in the world you would have convinced me that that was correct. As years have gone by, and I got to tell you, I'm a far better trader right now. For the year, I wrote it down, 340% I'm up for the year. So I'm a far better trader now than I ever used to be. And believe me, that's the aggressive trade. This is the trade that's a bit more conservative. This is the trade that shows proof that we're going to break out. I mean, I certainly get it. I take plenty trades inside like that before they break out. And I also take the trades that move up. So depending on what type of trader you are, I think I mentioned something earlier, is if you consistently take trades like this and you consistently don't make money, stop doing that and try to think about that and just see what happens. So let's see. Jonathan, yeah, you got to put the ticker symbol in there, buddy. I can't, don't know what it is. GE now. So a long on GE now. I would have to say absolutely not, Sal. And by the way, I am long GE. I am currently in GE. But I do not think it is ready to go long now. All right. I think we've moved up too far. Look, there are just some rules about trading that go have them tattooed on the back of your hand or something. And when you see a chart that has gone from down here to up here, this far in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. 8 days. So let's measure it here. If I go up here, what are we up? 20%. 20% in 8 days. That's a lot. That's a lot. That makes this, no way does that make this a buy. Absolutely not. You're asking for trouble. Asking for trouble. So what you want to do is you want to wait, be a little patient, and let it pull back and set up. You want that chart pattern in there is what you want. Now, like me, I'm already long. And by the way, I'm holding this a little longer term, okay? I'm not going to dump out of it. This is one of my targets, and I will close some of the position here. I will close some of the position up here. If we get past this area, then what I'm going to look for, and I can't guarantee that I'll have any left right here. I can't guarantee that. I will have here, though, because once we get here, I will look for the rest of the position to move up here. But what I'm going to look for is for that test, and then I'll look to start buying again in here. But right now, I think it's important that we let this thing calm down a little bit. We allow the sellers to have their little piece of action. I think it's important we allow some profit taking to come in, and then we can look at this as a trade. But right now, I think it's dangerous up here, extremely dangerous. And if it pulls back, I'm okay. I'm willing to hold it on the pullback. I've made that decision. As long as it doesn't start breaking down, certainly don't want that to happen. So not now, but on the watch list, Sal. Let's see, unless you already viewed it, Hal. Nope, have not. Hal, H-A-L. H-A-L. I'm going to clear all those off. That's way down there. So I'm going to go check something here. I'm going to see, is that an RBB? Yes, it is. So I'm going to go to my RBB chart, which basically there's during the RBB class, we'll be talking about a few more different moving averages. I've been doing this long enough now. I don't have to have those moving averages to help me. And during the class, we'll talk about them more coming up. But right now, I can look at this and I can say, okay, hey, this is set up pretty nice. I think we have a nice inverted head and shoulder here. And I'm going to draw a line right there. And for those that can't picture it, let me draw it for you. This would be a shoulder, that would be a head, and then the shoulder would be right there. So there's the shoulder, head, shoulder, inverse, head and shoulder, inverted, I guess. We've broken out over the 50-day simple. We've come back and we've tested the 50-day simple, and notice where we are in those dotted lines here, the regression lines. So we're back into here. See how we've moved up? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to that candle right there and put a line in there, and it's magic. I mean, look how we moved up. We created resistance, obeyed the resistance over here. We've created more resistance. We've pulled back to take another run at it, and we broke out. That resistance now appears, because it could change tomorrow, but as of today, it appears that resistance has become support. Now, we have a chart pattern here. I'm going to draw a little box around it. We call that the pop out of the box type chart pattern. Nice tight consolidation right in here. We have a little bullish engulf and a doji. So as far as price action goes and candlesticks go, we have what we would call a doji continuation pattern, which is bullish. So I'm looking at this chart thinking, that is a very nice chart. Who put that out there? Kudos to whoever did that. I don't see where I'm at. Oh, SP, thanks. Kudos. Nice chart, very nice chart. So right now, if I was looking to buy this, the way I would look at this is an inside day, absolutely. My risk reward, my risk would be, down at this level down here, what, 2% or less? That's pretty decent risk. And my reward would be up into here. These are always my target levels on the RBB. That's why we would start right here and then use some price action over here on the left to help detail it a little bit. But those are always very basic targets up there. So, 42.15 entry, there's 5%, there's 11%. This might be a nice option trade. If it's an option trade, that for those option trades, it's a lot more money than just that 11% stock trade. So very nice chart. That's one, keep on the watch list. Very nice chart. Oops. There we go. Let's see. In my younger days, too much PBR. You guys talking about beer. I had my first beer just the other day. Hi, Alice. Let's see. KMI. KMI has broken out. So that to me is bullish. We've got a very nice bullish chart right here. This is one of these cases where I would just simply put the buy box on here like that. And if you want it here, we can move this all the way over. I'm just using that as support. So we've broken out. We've moved up here. So what I might want to do, if I was not already in it, is simply, whoops, there we go. Watch for some sort of a pullback. I can't predict what kind of candles or how many candles. Just, I want to see a pullback in here. Might be one candle, might be 5 candles. And then I want to see, the buyers stepping back in like that. And maybe be a buyer here, maybe be a buyer on that breakout, proving that it can actually follow through with its breakout. It's a nice chart. Thank you. VZ. Oops, try that again. VZ. There we go. VZ is looking pretty good. Let's clean some of that off. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to go to a 2-day chart, take a look at this, 3-day chart, 5-day chart. Yeah, 5-day chart. I mean, see how boxy this is? We have a big candle up. We're just moving sideways, a whole lot of noise. So I think based on this chart, we'll go back to the daily in a sec. But based on this chart, I would have to look at something over this, say 55 level. Oh, yeah. And after going back here, I think I would want to look at over 55 for a trade. All right, let's talk about that for a second. So this again was, and I mentioned this was one of these things that for a long time, it was hard for me to personally grasp this, where you're better off to take the trade on the breakout and test versus, man, I better get into it right now. You see, we're right at resistance here. We haven't broken out yet. So how do we know it's going to move up? So what we want to do is we want to allow that breakout to happen, and then we want it to test. But see, the argue side of me says, man, I want to get in here so I can make more money. I would argue with anybody that argues with me about this. You're the person that the minute it pops, you're going to sell it anyway. So I don't get the whole I better get in early. I don't get it. If you're just going to sell the pop anyway. Believe me, everybody I've talked to an awful lot of traders over the years. And anybody that argues you have to get in here, believe me, I lived this. You are the person that's going to sell it the first sign of a pop anyway. So it just doesn't make sense. So what I would do is I would simply wait till it breaks out. Wait till it breaks out of all that nice consolidation, by the way. Very nice consolidation. And then trade on that pullback. Remember earlier I talked about that tradable bottom. So one has to ask themselves, is this the tradable bottom, or is the tradable bottom here after the breakout? And see, I would argue that it's after the breakout. After the breakout. Hey, Ed, now would be good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Alice. 2 nice charts. Great. Schlitz. You guys are killing me. CHK, David. I personally went long CHK today, just so everyone knows. And I think CHK is a pretty nice chart. And that's why I went long today. So, and we came from kind of a cradle, a little bit of a lumpy cradle chart pattern down here. A bullish W pattern for sure, kind of a small one, but it is what it is. Bullish W pattern like this right there. There you go. And we broke out. So up we go. And let me get rid of all those lines. There we are. See how we broke, see these 3 regression lines here. Here's how I might use this, and here's how I did, is we broke out, and then we started to test in here. Now, I bought it today. I bought it today after the pullback, the bullish engulf, proved to me it can move higher. I bought it today. So now, what I'm looking for is, which it already went up to this area here. I don't have enough profit in it to make a difference, so I didn't sell it. So what I'll look here for is, I'm going to put a little line right in here, and we'll just put one up there. Just put it up there. And then follow price, manage the trade from this point on. And it might pull back. It absolutely might pull back a little bit. Yeah, there's support right there. So if we start to see a little bit of a pullback here, that might offer an entry for somebody on CHK. That's a nice chart. Thank you, David. Let's see. I couldn't do Schlitz. You guys. Lone Star. Good grief. Walmart. Yes, Walmart had a nice day. Some of us in the trading room bought Walmart yesterday, and some maybe already had Walmart. So those that bought it yesterday were very happy today. I mean, it really worked out nice. I saw that somebody, I couldn't tell you who, somebody upgraded it, I think, to $113. So, this might be a nice trade right here. Now, I know me, and there's a really, really, really good chance that I take profits, around this $100 mark. If I can see that the chart is bullish and holding up well, and believe me, I don't think it's going to go straight up. It's going to have its little dance. I'm pretty sure it's going to dance along a little bit. But around that $100 mark, if I can see that the candle's looking good, volume's looking good, everything's looking great, market's looking like it's going to help Walmart go up, then I might hold out and try to stretch that, another buck or two maybe. But there's a really, really good chance I'm going to take profits right in here. It's just me, my way of trading. Then what I'll do is let this thing reestablish a tradable bottom and then look to get back in it and take it to that next level. So far, I think Walmart is thumbs up, doing a great job. Yeah. Let's see. UWT. UW. That's a nice chart. Look how this has been trending up, and now it's pulled back right into this area. And this is where I want to look. I like looking for those buy signals in here, those reasons to buy it in here. And this is a reason right here. And just because it was, say, under the green line today and over the green line, under the green line yesterday, over the green line today, doesn't mean that I'm going to like it any less. I love this chart. This is a nice chart. So right now I would be looking for an entry at this point. Use that pivot low there as probably a stop, and then follow that thing up. That's a good looking chart. That's really nice. Thanks, Steve. COP. That's another great looking chart. There we go there. That's a beautiful chart. You're already long at 78.48. Way to go, Rick. Way to go. Rick Stir, way to go. But thinking of adding, okay, where might I add when it breaks to all-time high? Well, let me share with you, because I am not long this chart, and I would like to be long this chart. So this is on what I would call my hot list. And so at this point now, I'm going to use that $80 level. And then I'm also going to put a line in here. And I can tell you here, let me brighten this up a little bit and get the volatility stop in there. There we are. See those green dots right there, the volatility stop. So I'm going to put a line in there like that. And I would be willing to buy this myself on consolidation in just anywhere in this area. And anyone that knows me, I honestly don't care whether I buy it at 78.47 or I buy it at 79.26. I honestly don't care. I just want to buy it in this area. If I don't get that opportunity for whatever reason, then I would simply wait till it breaks out and then look for that test again. So when it breaks out and it tests again, if there was a way I could, let me get rid of this. It's not distracting us a little bit. There we go. If there was a way I could take this chart pattern right here, this big pop up, and this pop could be a couple of days. It doesn't have to be one day. And then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day pullback. If I could take that chart pattern right there, and if I could cut this out, just cut it out. In fact, there is a way I can do that. There is a way. So I'm going to pretty much draw it the way we see it here. We break out, and then we pull back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly like that. If it broke out and started to do that, and then I saw that buy signal, that's where I'd be jumping on it. So, and there's nothing wrong with, if somebody wants to buy it in here, I get it. If you want to buy on that candle, I get it. If you want to buy on any one of those, I also get that. It's your rules. Just because one person says, this is the place they like, it doesn't mean that it's a perfect place for everybody. That would be a perfect scenario. Breakout, come back, and then buy it. So here's the breakout. Wouldn't that have been sweet to buy it in there? How sweet would that have been? And, you get two I'll say bullish candles because they're open-bodied candles. And right here, we broke out and see where we sat down right on that line. That acts as support. That came right down to support. We're right between the high and the low T-line regression line. That would have been a sweet buy any one of those 2 days. And then up we go. So it's one of those things. Lord, give me that again. Pop up, pull back, make it a sweet buy. So anyway, that's what I'm looking for in this chart. Ed drew a line there. I'm going to go a couple more if that's okay. There we go. Thanks, Ed. Let's see. Let's get rid of this here. And I'm going to look at a weekly chart. Yeah, looking at the weekly chart, I think I would want to see a bit of a breakout here. Here's a 3-day chart, so if you bought it in here, I get it. I mean, it's moving up. I just don't particularly like this whole scenario right here. I don't particularly like that. In fact, the more I look at it, the less I like it. Now, let me tell you where I would like it, though. And then I'll tell you why I don't like it right now. I would like it over 101.65, all right? Here's why I don't like it. I think candlestick signals do a pretty darn good job of telling us what the attitude of the chart is. So I look at this, and here's what I see. I'm going to draw this sort of big so it sticks out. I see a negative day, then I see a positive day, a positive day, a positive day, and then I see a negative day. Anybody know what chart pattern that is? That's a falling method. That's a bearish chart pattern. So the candles in here, they're going to have to prove to me that they can overcome that bearish chart pattern. How do we do that? Well, we break out and test. Prove to me you can do that. Now, let's think about this. I'm betting, I'll bet him you're maybe using an option trade. There's not a whole lot of people that can just go buy a, $100 stock. And I got to tell you, I'm not Mr. Option. Doug is Mr. Option. I trade strictly directional. Puts and calls. That's it. I trade nothing else. So I look at this trade and I'm thinking, I want to ask myself, well, where do I think it can go to? Where do I think it can go? And we can drop a line in there. Let's just take it to 118, make it even 120 up here. All right. So if it breaks out and it does the breakout dance and the test and everything, and you were maybe to buy it. In fact, let's just buy it above this level right here, above 105. So 106, call it 106. Go do the math. How much money would you make from here to here? And let me tell you something. You're going to make a bucket. I was going to say something else. You're going to make a bucket load of money, a bucket load. So what do I think of ALL? Wait till it proves itself. Then let's trade it. That's what I think of ALL. Yeah, 3-day chart. Yeah, I think the 3-day chart points this out the best, by the way. I think it does. The daily chart, see, I didn't like the way this is, and that's why I went and looked at a 2-day, 3-day, and that's where I got that at. So, thoughts on DERM? DERM. Nice pullback. I love the pullback. I think, I don't know if you've ever heard the term of candlestick stacking. To my knowledge, I'm the only person that's ever used that term. I could be wrong. Somebody feel free to correct me if that's not the case. But I would want to see some candle stacking in here. And what candle stacking is follow through. It's just simple follow through. That's all it is. So I probably wouldn't like this chart till it actually started to break out over $12.34 or so, give or take a penny here and there. And what we're going to need to see is, so far the candles have only been stacking down. So we need to see a candle that stacks above. And today did not stack above. On the other hand, tomorrow, if that happens, and we don't even need to open up there, it could open up here. If we close up, we stacked above this candle here. We moved above it. That's what we need to see. Once again, because we're looking at this chart, I cannot stress enough, you don't have to pick bottoms to make money in stock trading. Huge thing here. You don't have to do it. And allow the chart to work. Allow that chart to work. Then step in and take that trade as it starts moving up. Nice chart, by the way. I like that chart. I like that a lot. I could do without the wicks up here, and that's one reason we want to make darn sure we see some follow through. But overall, nice chart. I'll do two more. We'll do two more. Kimberly, it'll be recorded, yes. We'll put it somewhere, yes. Public, yeah, this will be on YouTube, Kimberly, yes. Do you typically buy options at the end of the day? I buy them all the time. Doesn't matter what time of day, SP. Doesn't matter at all. To me, anyway. All right, Apple, and then we'll call it a day, okay? Apple buy long. Based on my tool right here that I use. I like this tool. I really do. I love this little tool, the regression line of the T-line. And based on that, I would have to say yes. And the reason is the risk reward is low. That would be the risk. And in all honesty, 3% I think is perfectly fine. I think that's good. We also have a bullish morning star signal set up right in here. So right now I would have to say yes. I don't know if I would buy a full position, maybe a nibble perhaps, but on a breakout of 230, that's when you might think of, that's where the bulls are saying, hey, we're going higher above that level. Let's just jump to a weekly chart, take a look at it. Oh my goodness sakes. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? That is a great looking chart. That is so sweet, actually. I'm going to get rid of those, get them out of the way. Look how that thing has rallied up, and look at how it's consolidated. Let me get the V-stop in here. I can see it. I don't know if you guys can. There we go. Look at that V-stop. My mouse is acting up. Nice and solid, straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those little bad boys lined up there. So I would have to, at this point, think that Apple is a pretty good trade. I'll tell you the truth. Yeah, pretty good trade. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Nobody wants to watch, a 14-hour video, so recording. I want to thank everybody for being here. I do appreciate it. Remember, trade cautiously till the market makes a positive move in either direction, up or down. A positive move down. What I mean is a big decision. Right now, I don't know that the market has made some big decision. I think it's just kind of playing around, teasing everybody. So let the market pick out a direction, and then I think it'll be easier to make those decisions on what you should trade and what direction. Alrighty, thanks everybody. I appreciate it, and we'll see everybody sun up. You guys take care.